Hello, my friend. I must tell you that this morning at the Fog and Finch began with rather a commotion. In her usual enthusiasm, Mildred managed to spill an entire sack of flour. As you might imagine, it created an impressive white cloud and proceeded to cover nearly everything in the kitchen, including yours truly. I have since been informed that black cats are considerably less intimidating when powdered like a sugared biscuit. It reminded me of another very different sort of cloud. One I sincerely hope never visits Crimsbury again. Mysterious things happen here on a fairly regular basis, but this was unusual even by our standards. That morning, Mr. Willoughby, who is something of a mystery unto himself and always seems to appear precisely where he is needed, had parked his wagon beside Market Square. People brought him all manner of things: broken clocks, chairs with missing legs, things they hoped he might mend, and things they hoped he might pass along to someone who needed them more. Most people, I have observed, leave Mr. Willoughby's company feeling just a little lighter than when they arrived. Why this happens is one of Crimsbury's more delightful mysteries. A small queue had formed beside the wagon, and people chatted quietly while waiting their turn. Some were laughing over shared memories. Someone else was admiring a baby. Two friends shared a biscuit. It was all becoming alarmingly wholesome. Unfortunately, Evelina Plum appeared to have developed a remarkable immunity to happiness. Indeed, I had begun to suspect that witnessing joy in other people caused her actual discomfort. Upon seeing the gathering beside Mr. Willoughby's wagon, she appeared to feel compelled to correct the situation. She began making the sort of remarks for which Evelina was, regrettably, rather well known. I shall not repeat them. Crimsbury has quite enough fog without manufacturing additional varieties indoors. One could almost watch the smiles fade. Conversation stopped. A young woman lowered her eyes to her shoes. Even Mr. Willoughby stopped smiling for a moment. I believe that was the precise moment it began. Most people did not notice it. I did. A tiny brown wisp drifted from the air beside Evelina's lips. It curled lazily upward before settling upon her shoulder. Then it divided. Little tendrils floated silently through the square. One settled gently around the young woman's shoulders. Another drifted toward the two gentlemen who had been laughing only moments before. Their laughter faded. Several people quietly stepped out of the queue altogether and wandered home. Evelina continued on her way through Crimsbury. Her next stop, unfortunately, was the town park. A young artist sat beneath an old oak tree, painting the morning sunlight as it filtered through the leaves. His work was lovely. It was the sort of lovely that makes strangers pause without quite knowing why. Evelina stopped as well. This proved unfortunate for everyone involved. She said something, I did not hear what. I only watched the young man lower his brush, study his painting for a long moment, and quietly set it aside. The little cloud around his shoulders grew noticeably larger. Meanwhile, the one around Evelina had begun to spread beyond the brim of her hat. And so Miss Plum continued through Crimsbury. A remark here, a criticism there, a sentence that left someone wishing they had remained home that morning. Everywhere she went, the clouds followed. Some settled upon the people who received her words. Others remained with Evelina herself. By afternoon, the entire town seemed somehow dimmer. The flowers no longer held their heads quite so high. The birds had grown strangely quiet. Even the fog smelled different. It was not until later that afternoon that everyone began arriving at the Fog and Finch. The artist arrived carrying his beautiful painting as though he no longer cared whether it was ever finished. Several others wandered in as well. They came for tea, for warmth and company, and each unknowingly brought a cloud with them. That was when the clouds were not multiplying, they were gathering. Both dining rooms were soon filled with weary, discouraged faces. Above them, the separate clouds drifted together until one enormous dark mass stretched from wall to wall. The lanterns dimmed and the flowers drooped. The air smelled faintly of wet ashes and extinguished candles. Several customers rubbed at their eyes. Others covered their noses with handkerchiefs. Doris sneezed twice. I found my whiskers becoming unusually offended. The air had become almost unbearable. The bitter smell lingered in every corner of the tea shop. People spoke only in whispers. Then, the little bell above the front door chimed. Mr. Willoughby stepped inside. He looked slowly around the room and up at the great dark cloud hanging over everyone's heads. He did not seem especially surprised. That, I thought, was rather surprising. Doris hurried over. Mr. Willoughby, she whispered. Something dreadful has happened. I know, he replied gently. I've been watching it all afternoon. He walked first to the young artist. He studied the painting for a moment, then leaned close and quietly said something only the artist could hear. The young man looked at his painting again and smiled, just a little. A tiny golden spark floated upward. The cloud around his shoulders became just a little smaller. Mr. Willoughby simply nodded and moved on. He spoke quietly with a young woman with a dog. She smiled through her tears. Another golden spark and another piece of cloud disappeared. Around the room, people began noticing. Someone thanked Doris for the tea. An elderly gentleman admired another guest's walking stick. Mildred told the artist his painting was beautiful. The words themselves were wonderfully ordinary. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. You've done lovely work. With every kindness, another golden spark drifted upward. Wherever the sparks touched the darkness, it quietly dissolved. Fresh air returned and the flowers slowly lifted their heads. The lanterns glowed warmly once again. Only one cloud remained. It hovered above Evelina Plum. She looked up at it. For the first time all day she seemed to see it. Mr. Willoughby walked over and spoke quietly to her. No one else heard what he said. Not even me. After a long silence, Mildred gently placed a fresh cup of tea before her. Evelina hesitated. Then, almost too softly to hear, she whispered, "Thank you." One tiny golden spark rose into the air. Mr. Willoughby smiled, put on his hat, and stepped back into the evening fog. By the time Doris opened the door, he and his wagon had disappeared. Curiously enough, the largest cloud of all had never truly belonged to the people Evelina had wounded. It had belonged to Evelina herself. Crimsbury, I have observed, rarely changes people all at once. More often, it simply offers them opportunities to become slightly better versions of themselves. Whether they accept the invitation is another matter entirely. Humans often imagine words disappear once they are spoken. I have seen considerable evidence to the contrary. Kindness and cruelty, it seems, travel much farther than their owners expect. Personally, given the choice, I recommend kindness. It smells considerably better. If you've enjoyed your visit to Crimsbury, a like, a share, or a subscription helps more kind travelers find our little town. Until next time, good night, my friend.